Hey guys, to kind of go off of the last video and to delve more deeply into fan culture, uh, I'll talk about one of the most prominent audience studies. Really, this man Henry Jenkins was a professor at MIT. He and Steve Tulloch created a book called Science Fiction Audiences, watching Doctor Who and Star Trek, which, you know, created a theory of media convergence and participatory cultures that has actually influenced how people see fandom nowadays and especially how they see online fandom. And, convention going science fiction communities, cultish science fiction communities sort of paved the way for how we see internet communities. And it's interesting to see how the internet community reacts and relates back to its roots. It's a separate issue. Anyway, he's written several articles, but also this huge book on classic Doctor Who. In his classic Doctor Who interpretation, it tells you a little bit about the makeup of the older fan culture when it moved away from family viewing into more cultish or young adult viewing. It it was made up mostly of young white males who looked up to the Doctor and saw him as a typical hero slash role model. Okay, what should be noted is that although their audience study picked up on male viewership and the sort of stereotypical male fan, the one that's now shown to us over and over again in like movies about geeks and nerds, or shown on shows like The Big Bang Theory, stereotypical nerdy people. There was a built-in female fan base in the form of the Doctor's companions. Most of the Doctor's companions are female. When there is a male companion, there is also often a female companion. But this is still a very gendered relationship. The female character is often, even in the case of Sarah Jane Smith, who holds her own, she doesn't have the Doctor's alien knowledge, but it is also in for the female viewer. The first producer of the show was Verity Lambert, a female producer who understood that to create loyalty within a wide audience, you needed to have a wide variety of characters, which is why the first traveling companions of the Doctor are his granddaughter, who is another Time Lord. So she does have all of his know-how and intelligence, and two humans, one male, one female. Of course, over time this changed, but having a built-in narrative device to encourage female viewership and to show female action and resourcefulness. It just shows that it was supposed to appeal to not just the stereotypical fanboy that we consider, which is interesting that the stereotypical fangirl continues to be disdained and dismissed by the community online. But the way that science fiction audiences, like Doctor Who's audiences, interacted with with the work itself, created a participatory culture that brought the creator and the audience into closer proximity, and which made the audience no longer just a passive consumer, um, but a producer in their own right, which had an effect then upon the creator or the producer, or that it should. And in articles about cyber relations between producer and audience member, where he talks about the fact that the internet and the way that information is distributed on the internet shows that information and culture is now being created as well as consumed, which in turn creates collective intelligence. which can respond to the work. Should challenge the producer. The idea is that it will gain enough power to challenge the producer. Anyway, so right, so that was his initial reaction to it, and his original audience study, as I've said, kind of gave an overview of the people who created fanfictions and vines, and who contributed to the creation of the books and of the published fanfiction and the published comics and all these other like networks of fan works. To him, showed that science fiction communities were inspired to create other elements of the world that they had been shown on television. Okay,